Hey everybody, Tyler here with Big TV on our second leg on the way to Charlotte. I'm going to do the match preview and talk about what we can kind of expect from this game, key players to look out for. But if you're new around here, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. So this game against Charlotte comes at a difficult time for Nashville SC. We've got a lot of away games. We travel down to Mexico on Tuesday for our second leg in the Champions Cup against Club America. I think we had a decent performance on Tuesday night against Club America, and I do think that Charlotte play in quite a similar way. So I think what we need to see from this team is kind of a lot more of the same in terms of the way that we control the game, we control possession, and I think that's the best way to put pressure on this Charlotte team and also frustrate them. They are in pretty good form. They've had, I think it's 5 wins. They've lost one game, I believe, and drawn another, which was the game against Inter Miami. So we know that they can definitely compete, drawing against Inter Miami. Though it might have been the game that I think Inter Miami played a lot of their second string for that game. So you never quite know what level to expect, but I do think the Charlotte team is good. I do think they're quite convincing in the way that they play. I think they're definitely incisive, and we've seen that they've scored quite a lot of goals this year. They've scored 6 past New York Red Bulls. I think it was 3 against Austin. But then the last game they played at home, they did struggle a little bit, or at least scrape through with a 2-1 victory over Philadelphia, who haven't been in great form. So I think overall I expect them to be a decent competition, and I think it would be impressive for Nashville to go and get a win, despite everything. I don't think Nashville are in the best form in terms of course, we had that loss last weekend. We had the draw in midweek, and so ideally we do need to get a win here. That's important. But whether we can do that is another thing. I think Charlotte generally like to play on the transition a lot. So similar to Club America, they defend very similarly. Lots of players behind the ball. They're very happy to sit with sort of 6, 7 men deep. And then they do try and spring a sort of quick transition, quite a direct, almost counter-attack really, is how they spend a lot of their time in attack. Their 3 up top are, of course, critical, with Zaha and Tokolamati particularly. And they also have Beal in there, who's looking good from set pieces. So, I mean, they've definitely got threats, but in general, it feels like they have an attacking unit of sort of 3 or 4 players, and then the rest of them are for the most part, defending. The transitions happen very fast. They do like to go out wide. And I think that's another thing. A lot of their goals come from quite wide. They generally have a phase of play where it is out in in a corner and one side with one winger or another, getting the ball into the box, whether that's sort of at the back of the D or around the penalty spot, and then being able to get goals that way. That seems to be sort of their preferred way of playing, and that's not too dissimilar to the way that Club America played. Now, in a way, that's kind of convenient from a tactical perspective to be able to prepare effectively the same game plan for 2 teams in a row, and then play them again with the Club America on Tuesday game. So the players can be in that mindset. So really, we just need to kind of continue the way that we were playing on Tuesday night, but with some more incisive finishing. In terms of their defence, I think if you do catch this Charlotte team on the transition, their defence can look a bit leggy, and they can also look weak out wide. That their fullbacks probably not as strong as their, definitely not as experienced. They have Tim Ream in their central defence, who's played in the Premier League, very experienced central defender. So I think we need to be making the most of both transition plays with Hani being able to get the ball moved fast, and also control the pace and tempo of the game, and then also allowing Espinoza, perhaps Madrigal, to do the job out wide and cause real problems for their fullbacks. I think this is a game that Espinoza could, be critical in terms of what he does, and we just need to see Sam Surridge really turn up as well in terms of his finishing. I don't think he was bad on Tuesday night. I just don't think there was maybe enough from our team in the attacking third. I just don't think we looked cohesive there. I don't think the passing was particularly good. We looked really good controlling the game up to that point, but then didn't have the energy, that final burst of energy or excitement to be able to get that finish and get a goal. So I think overall it's more of the same, more of the control of the game, being cautious with the transition and the counter attack. From our centre backs, we need to see them stepping up, stepping in front of the opposition, particularly that front 3 looking dangerous. Try and win those balls early, try and intercept, rather than ending up with them, getting on the ball and being able to get in behind. So I think it's just being aggressive, but being very clean in the challenges. It's going to be really important for our defenders. And again, Andy Nahar is going to have to play really well. We're going to have to see him covering his defensive duty as well. Reed Baker-Whitey, I'm expecting, will probably start, but it could be Lovitz. Either one of them needs to be really solid in their defensive work because they are going to have balls coming out to them. They're going to have fast wingers facing them, and that's always going to be tricky, with the quality of players like Zaha. So it's going to be difficult. But I think Nashville can do this if we continue to play in a similar fashion, continue to be dominant and control possession. I think that could be really the answer to us getting a result here. Now, in terms of my score prediction, I want to back the team for sure, but it is a tricky away fixture. I do think, Charlotte are third in the league. They are sat there on 11 points next to New York City SC, so right behind us. So I'm going to go for a 1-0 victory, which is probably the least I've predicted all year. But I do think it could be a tricky game. We've got big games coming up, and I think we just need to show that we can get it over the line. We can dominate possession, and we can finish. We've seen some good play so far since our international break. We just really need to get that final finish and be convincing in the final third. And I think at that point, it should be everything we need. And we should come home with a result. But I wouldn't be surprised if this ends in a draw. I don't want this to be a high-scoring game. I do want us to control this. And I think that's the most important thing, is that overall Nashville controls the game. And we don't end up chasing a game that becomes very stretched and in transition, at which point I think we might end up in quite a lot of trouble. So yeah, that's my score prediction. Going to go for a 1-0. We are halfway, we're maybe an hour out of Charlotte. Looking forward to the game tonight. Let us know your score predictions in the comments, and we'll have more live coverage from Charlotte this afternoon.